Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I will be doing a YouTube comment section deck tech for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a current list, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a commander, a theme, and any pet cards you have. Today, we have a request by the user Czar. I'm going to call him Czar. Prossh, Skyraider of Kher, good old commander, mid to high level, Jund him out, bank investments, classic Jund shenanigans. I love it. Put it together. What we're looking at is obviously Jund, black, red, and green, and then 3 extra mana on top of that for a 5/5 flying dragon. When he enters, you make X01 red kobold tokens, where X is the amount of mana you spent to cast Prossh. So little bit of a theme around token generation and then weaponizing those tokens in some way. Planeswalkers, Liliana Dreadhorde General. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. That's going to be happening quite a bit. You can also make tokens. You can also make player sacrifice creatures. Excuse me. Tevish Zot, Doom of Fools. Kind of the same thing. You can make tokens, and you can also sacrifice stuff for profit by drawing cards. Creature section, Avenger Zendikar was a slam dunk in this deck, making a ton of tokens that we can either build up, make strong, and win the game with, or simply just sacrifice them for other things is kind of the name of the game with all the cards here. Beledros Witherbloom basically lets you double your amount of mana that you have on your turns, and then also makes tokens on every upkeep. Blood Artist, drain and gain anytime a creature dies. Braids, another way to weaponize your tokens, so you can sack them and then basically make an opponent make a bunch of different choices. Chatterfane is going to double the amount of tokens that you generate with all the cards, whether it's Avenger, Beledros, your commander. Enduring Vitality is going to let you utilize those tokens to tap for mana before you sack them, so you're actually getting kind of 2 uses out of them, which is cool. Ophiomancer, making a bunch of snakes. Mayhem Devil allows you to kind of throw damage anywhere you want. Marionette Apprentice, basically another Blood Artist. Mahandi, so at the beginning of your end step, you make a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. You're going to be doing a lot of the sacrificing on your own turn. So there's going to be turns where you're sacrificing anywhere from 2 to 6 tokens, and then being able to tap those tokens for mana with Enduring Vitality, then sacrifice them for profit with something else, triggering Mayhem Devil to deal damage with all of them, and then at the end step making 2 to 6 treasures with all the ones that died. If that's not getting the best bang for your buck out of your tokens, I'm not really sure what is. Corvolve, kind of the new and better version of these kind of commanders these days, but I respect trying to go old school with Prossh. He does sacrificing, he does card drawing. It activates off of anything sacrificing, not just tokens, but also fetch lands. Eternal Witness to buy something important back. Pitiless Plunderer to make treasures off of all of the death that we'll be causing. Perforos, another way to weaponize the tokens entering and make them hurt everyone. Sakura Tribe Elder, the beginning of the same 10 pieces of ramp we have in almost all of our green commander decks. Sephiroth, more drain and gain as well as card draw. Tendershoot Dryad is a monster in these kind of decks if you've never played it. $3 is a great price for this. I think this is way better than Avenger Zendikar, and it's also cheaper as far as 5 mana versus 7. Viscera, being able to sacrifice these things to scry and make sure we're drawing the right things. Warren Soul Trader does a little bit of everything. It makes treasure tokens. It's a sacrifice outlet. Yawgmoth, he gives you a sacrifice outlet. He allows you to proliferate. He allows you to put -1 counters on stuff. He allows you to draw cards. Pretty much everything that you want to be doing. Zulaport is another Blood Artist effect. Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 visits, Sakura Tribe Elder that we already mentioned, Felwar Stone, Soul Rain, Arcane Signet, 10 pieces of ramp. I always recommend usually around 10 to make sure that your game is consistent and you're able to get off the ground every game and be able to play a full game of Magic and not get held back by having expensive stuff stuck in your hand. Decimate, one of the better pieces of removal in these colors. It's a 4-for-1, and if you know anything about Jund like I do, Jund is known for being a 2-for-1 deck, which in traditional formats where it's 1 versus 1, 2-for-1 is a great deal, but in 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 formats, 4-for-1 is obviously even better. Pest Infestation allows you to just knock a bunch of artifacts and enchantments out of the table and then create a bunch of tokens. Finally, Vandal Blast, being able to get a multitude of things on the battlefield for a single card is exactly what we want to do. Holy cow, sorry, I just ate a pizza. Arachnogenesis as instants. So the difficult part about a deck like this is obviously your commander's 6 mana. It's going to take you some time to build up. It takes time for Jund to gather its resources and have everything in place. And then once you get the wheels start turning, it's impossible to stop it. But getting stopped on your way to that setup is what can keep you from winning the game. Cards like Arachnogenesis are two-folded here. Not only can they save you from being, attacked by a bunch of stuff, but then they can also generate you a bunch of tokens. Artifact Mutation, destroy an artifact, make a bunch of tokens. Blood for the Blood God. So there's going to be a lot of creatures dying, as we already mentioned. Hopefully you're only going to be paying 3 mana for this. And paying 3 mana to draw 8 cards, deal 8 damage to each opponent is a pretty sweet deal. Culling the Weak, weaponize your tokens, get a bunch of mana out of them. Dark Ritual, a way for us to get to our commander or our higher cost spells quicker. Heroic Intervention, we don't need many effects that protect us because we're going to be the ones that are actually sacrificing most of our board, but there are going to be times where we want something that can protect ourselves. Heroic Intervention and Tibalt's Trickery are sharing the same purpose of making sure that we are sacrificing and losing things on our board when we choose to and not when other people choose to. Artifacts, we already talked about the ramp package. We also added the talismans to have 13 total pieces. This deck's curve is on average a bit higher than most decks. Again, it's going to take some time to build up to that point where you're taking over the game and you can't be stopped. And this is just more ways to make sure we're consistently hitting that spot. Ashnod's Altar, being able to sacrifice our tokens for mana. Idol of Oblivion, draw a card if you made a token this turn. That's going to be pretty much every turn. Skull Clamp, probably the best token-related card ever printed. Being able to sacrifice a token to draw 2 cards at the cost of 1 mana to equip is absolutely incredible. And the moment you get to play it for this first time and you sacrifice 3 tokens and completely refill your hand, you'll be on board. Pretty big enchantment section. Attrition allows us to sacrifice tokens to destroy creatures. Awakening Zone allows us to make tokens on our upkeep and then sacrifice them for mana. Black Market will pretty much just gain counters throughout the game as stuff dies, and then we get to utilize that mana on our turns. This is going to pay itself back in dividends. Cryptolith Right is a lot like Enduring Vitality, allowing us to tap our tokens for mana. Defense of the Heart. So if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, we can basically just go get creatures out of our deck and put them in play. So again, this is a kind of persuading your opponents not to build up too fast and to leave you alone. If someone's getting out onto the field too quickly before you've built up, slam something like this down, go get 2 massive creatures, and totally change the board dynamic into your favor. Dictate, whenever we lose a token, other people lose a creature. Goblin Bombardment, being able to sacrifice our tokens to throw damage around anywhere we want. Grave Pact, more of the same. Whenever a creature of ours dies, everyone sacrifices a creature. Grind Rites of Illilamok allows us to find a creature from the top 4 and then turns into a Gaia's Cradle. Impact Tremors is like a mini Purphoros, dealing damage when creatures enter. Into the Pit, if we've sacrificed a creature, we can play a card from the top of our library, so it's kind of like a Phyrexian Arena, and we're also playing Phyrexian Arena too. Just consistent card draw is very important in any deck, and especially in Jund. The main idea, the main selling point, the reason people like Jund is it's a 2-for-1 deck and it's consistent. So making sure we get to that point every game, you're going to have a good time. Parallel Lives, doubling all of the tokens. We don't need all of the token doubler effects, but I figured a couple would be okay. Finally, Meat Hook Massacre. Little bit of an ability to wipe the battlefield early in the game. If we've not gotten everything under our feet yet, we haven't built our foundation. Plus we get that drain and gain effect with creatures dying. Lands, as always, especially when it comes to a base green deck, you don't have to focus on any of this. None of it is super important. Build with what you have. Make it work to the best of your ability. And if it's not working out well, if you find yourself having a hard time getting specific kinds of mana out, then make adjustments, save up some money, upgrade one piece at a time, and it'll make a world of difference. But if you're interested, this is the land base that I'd recommend starting with. The only noteworthy pieces I'd say are Westvale Abbey, just a mana sink late in the game. If you have extra mana, you can always make tokens with it, and then you can also make Ormondal eventually. Finally, Phyrexian Tower, being able to sacrifice a token for 2 mana is pretty cool. But besides that, the rest of these lands, as always, just do your best. So again, through and through, this is Jund. We didn't fit a Blood-Braided Elf in, but if you wanted to, I wouldn't blame you at all. I love Jund. This is what I grew up playing. I have a soft spot in my heart for it. So, sorry, no Tarmogoyfs, no Blood-Braided Elves. It didn't really fit the theme. But if you want to toss them in there and relive the good old days, feel free to. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how the deck plays out. And Godspeed.